talk.
I know.
And see what the hell is on his mind.
I've always liked Val Kilmer.
Yeah.
He's a weird dude.
Val Kilmer, Snoop Dogg would be good.
Ever since Tombstone,
Yeah.
I'm like, that's my guy.
Oh yeah.
He's fallen off a little bit, but
yeah, but I'd still go have a couple of beers with Val Kilmer.
absolutely. It seems like he's had a couple of beers,
yeah,
all the time.
He's a fun guy. 3 hours, that might be too long.
Yeah.
Hello, this is Between the Streams. This is our weekly podcast where we talk about movies and television, talk about entertainment in general, and thank you everybody for joining us right now. We've got a ton of stuff to get to. We're talking about Top Gun 2, though. Right off the start here, and that's our question that we have on Facebook because we're broadcasting live on Facebook and YouTube. The question is: Top Gun 2 has been confirmed. Is that a good idea or a bad idea?
Yes,
and we want to get into that. Yes, it's a bad idea.
No,
just yes,
that is
the
the question.
So,
and I think I don't know the answer, but that is.
But that is the question. So we're going to get into that and talk about that here at the top. We're going to go through the weekend box office. We've got some news from Netflix about some new series that are popping up on there. I'm going to give a review of Bloodline. Bloodline Season 3 comes out actually today, but I've been fortunate enough to see a little bit of it. We've got Star Wars news. A lot of stuff to talk about here
X-Men
today.
horror movie.
I'm Greg Nibbler.
I'm Ryan Juanita.
And let's get to this thing right after that, though. This Top Gun 2, which we saw confirmed this week. Tom Cruise confirmed it.
The Cruisinator.
The Cruisinator confirmed that, yes, indeed, there is going to be a Top Gun 2. And Val Kilmer had been kind of teasing this.
So he tweeted about it in 2015 that it was going on.
That they were going to be making it.
No one ever substantiated his claims or anything. I think it's just been like bandied about for like 3 years now.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise was talking about it in 2014. And we were saying, with the whole Russian Cold War thing, sort of, it's so hot right now. It's really back in the. It's really trending.
Yep.
So
Cold Wars are hot.
It's a really good time for this. What we know about the movie so far is that it's supposedly going to be about drone warfare. Mm-hmm. We think, but we don't know, that Tom Cruise is going to be an instructor. But maybe he has to take back to the friendly skies or the not so friendly skies.
Yeah.
That worries me because I want to see big jets taken off of aircraft carriers. That's Top Gun, right?
Exactly.
So,
a movie about drones is just not that exciting.
But you know what it's going to be?
A bunch of dudes sitting at controllers.
It's going to be these old guys who, I feel like it's going to be something like, well, drones, they just don't know what it's like up there in the air. And I'm going to have to get in my old battleship and go kick some butt. Get in that F-14.
They're going to be fighting drones as they go up.
Yep.
So seeing the comments start coming in here on Facebook, we're seeing a lot of bad ideas. We're seeing a lot of bad.
What about Kazansky?
Top Gun 2 yawn. Bruce is live from a flea market in Packwood, Washington. Thank you, Bruce, for tuning in from the flea market.
That's cool.
That's cool. Tim says, why not? They make sequels about every movie these days.
Absolutely, and
flops.
most of them suck. And you know what? I'm kind of excited about this still. I mean, like we were talking about at the beginning, I like Val Kilmer. I don't know if this is a good idea, but I'm kind of excited about it.
Yeah.
I would love to see Val Kilmer and Tom Cruise in a movie together again as Kazansky and Maverick. I mean, Ice Man.
Yeah.
There's so many classic lines. The question was almost going to be, what's your favorite quote? Because there's so many good ones.
And there are a ton of lines. And Top Gun is one of those movies that, especially if you grew up around that era, it was the movie. Like, every kid wanted to watch Top Gun. One of my best friends growing up was obsessed with the Top Gun Nintendo game. Like,
that wasn't great.
No, it wasn't. Every time I went over there, though, we had to play the Top Gun game.
It was so hard to get. I think you had to get gas in the air. You had to connect the cable, and it was nearly impossible.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, dude, I like Top Gun too, but come on, this is weird.
Yeah.
But anyway. That's
and
my own
also,
story.
John Krasinski, I believe, who directed Oblivion, is rumored to be the director. So he worked with Cruise on Oblivion, and the rumor is, as Variety was reporting, that they had vetted directors right before, because he wanted to get it all sewn up before Mission Impossible 6 got underway.
Okay.
So apparently this has been in the works, but he finally confirmed it. And it was interesting, too. He confirmed it to an Australian morning show.
Yeah.
So it was like, all of a sudden, he just said, Yep, we're doing it.
Yeah. Hopefully this isn't Tom Cruise going off the rails.
Maybe he's just making it up. Paramount has not confirmed anything about as far as the director goes. I don't know if they've actually confirmed the thing, but Tom Cruise has a huge production company, so if he says it's happening, he can make it happen.
It's happening.
Yeah, exactly.
It is being asked, is Val Kilmer going to be a part of it?
That's the question. We don't know. Again, he said he was in 2015, but we were talking about it. He's a little... He's a little bloated. I mean, like, I don't know what the storyline's going to be. Is like Tom Cruise pulling him out of like a drunken haze to bring him back in the game. Like, that's, you can write around it.
That would
he just
work.
Doesn't look like the kind of guy that's in shape and like in the military still and everything.
But he's supposed to be the badass.
Well, he's by the book.
Yeah.
Everything by the book, flies cold as ice.
Yeah,
that's the
true.
deal.
Yeah.
That's Kazansky.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Daniel says, meh. James says, I won't have any of my money tied up in it, so who cares? All right. Well, I mean,
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah.
So I hope Val Kilmer's going to be a part of it. I think you would have to have him.
I don't want to see it if Val Kilmer's not in it.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want Tom Cruise with a bunch of like young, Disneyized actors that,
No,
I don't
that's what
want
it's going to
that.
be. Yeah. A hotshot drone pilot. You
Yeah.
can't be a badass
No.
hotshot drone pilot.
No.
I'm sorry.
It's not
It
good.
doesn't
Yeah.
work. Like there's just something about that.
Exactly.
It
It doesn't translate.
I've got my fighter drone pilot jacket on. I mean, I know it's a very important part of the world, but
If you can't wear aviator sunglasses, you're not cool.
No, it's
That's
just not the
deal.
same as a fighter
They have
pilot.
to have big mirrors on them.
Who's he? Oh, he's the hotshot drone pilot. Like, I
Said
don't know.
no one ever.
I don't know if
All
that'll
right.
really work out. All right.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, there we go. Top Gun 2 getting
Keep
made.
those questions coming in. We still want to know if you like it.
Questions, comments. Greg says bad. I think overwhelmingly so far it's bad.
Yeah, but
That's
you're
what
all
people
going to
are
go
saying,
see it. Don't lie.
but Yeah. I'll go see it.
And that's all that matters.
All right, well-
Speaking of, you're all going to go see it, and that's all that matters.
Yes, we have. We need to get to our weekend box office preview, and just to tease some of the stuff that we are going to be talking about: new shows from Netflix, Game of Thrones, Star Wars. But we have to start off and talk about what is coming out in the box
We
office
have
this
to.
weekend. We have to. We have to get to it.
Yes.
And the first one, the big movie for this weekend: Pirates of the Caribbean,
Yeah.
Dead Men. Or Dead Men
Dead Men Tell
Dead
No
Men Tell No
Tales.
Tales, excuse
Yeah,
me.
there were two like sort of big movies that we thought would be maybe interesting.
Yeah.
I've been sort of tired of this series for a while, but it looked really cool because Javier Bardem is, the man, and he's the guy. And the first trailer, he was like spitting ghost ooze out of his face, and it looked kind of fun. There's also like weird CGI young Jack Sparrow because that's apparently a requirement for movies now is weird CGI young.
Of course,
Whoever's
that's what
in
you
it.
have to do.
But so this movie is getting kind of hammered. I think it's around the 30% range as far as Rotten Tomatoes, and the critics are just saying, "Yep, more of the same," which is
Yeah.
basically what our Rick Marshall said, more of the same. But as I was said, it doesn't matter because you're going to go see it. There's a $75 million opening weekend expected for this movie. So
Wow.
$75 million.
Well, I mean, there's not much out. There's not much out right now. As
There's
far
not
as
much
new
else to
movies.
see. Yeah,
as far as new movies
I'm going to
coming out.
recommend a movie once we're done with this.
Okay.
Quickly, I'm going to give a quick recommendation for Alien Covenant. But
Okay.
the other movie of
Yeah,
the
the other one
week
that's
is
out.
Baywatch, which again the trailers made it look like it might be interesting. I mean, it's a silly idea, but then again, The Rock, has the charisma to make silly ideas work, and Zac Efron has some comedic chops.
Yeah.
and there's a lot of beautiful people in this. I mean, let's be honest.
It's a bunch of good-looking people on the beach wearing swimsuits.
Absolutely.
And then
And
maybe
how,
there's
so
some
you're
humor.
like, how can that fail? But yeah, no, it's apparently just terrible.
It's just an awful idea.
It's at 19%. They said they didn't know what it wants to be. It doesn't know if it's trying to be nostalgic or a raunch-com, but it sort of tries to do both.
Okay.
And it just kind of like loses all the
Just flops.
glimmer of the, let's face it, not so great original series that people
No, the
seem to
original's-
love amazingly.
No, it was terrible.
Do you remember Hobie?
Oh yeah, the son.
God, he's
yeah.
the worst.
Hobie was the worst.
Sorry, buddy, whoever was
Yeah.
that actor, but man, that was
Hobie was
terrible.
pretty awful. Yeah,
Yeah.
I will agree. Yeah. Well, all right. Well, there we go. So Baywatch.
So that's that.
Not doing so well. So those are the two new movies coming out this weekend that we wanted to highlight.
It might still make money. It's just not
Yeah.
getting the critics praise.
Right. Going back to our question at the top of the show about Top Gun 2. Seeing here, Val Kilmer would have to diet like mad, says Sean. Jerry says maybe Tom Cruise can finally make a movie he doesn't take his shirt off in. I haven't noticed.
Oh no, they're gonna go play volleyball.
Yeah.
That's gonna happen.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. He'll have to prove it. Like, look, I'm 50, but look at me. All right. Let's go on to something else that we got to see this week, which is more and more coming out about Star Wars: The Last Jedi. And we finally did get some pictures that showed up, which maybe you can throw me behind the scenes. I didn't do something. I didn't hand over the pictures. And so, anyway, maybe we'll circle back around.
We'll
to that
circle
one.
back to
I'll
that
cut
one.
that out of the podcast. That's my bad.
That's okay. But how about this reboot recap we've got this
Let's
week?
do that.
You know how they reboot everything, so we've got a segment called Reboot Recap. And this week, they're rebooting The Jetsons.
The Jetsons. Why would the Jetsons need a reboot, though? I mean,
Because it's a property you can sell, and that's all that matters.
see, the thing is, though, if you do the Jetsons, does that mean? I guess they've already done the Smurfs. If you do the Jetsons, you would have to do the Flintstones. I would think that would be the first one.
Oh, I don't know. I guess sci-fi is hotter right now, so they're going for the Jetsons.
So they're going with the Jetsons. So the Jetsons are getting a movie or a television series?
They're getting a movie.
Okay.
It's going to be directed by the same director who did Sausage Party.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So
are
that's
they
kind
going
of
to make
interesting.
it more of a joke on it, or
We don't know.
Okay.
This has been around forever. They at first were going to make a live action version of the Jetsons.
Yeah.
And that never materialized. They did actually make a movie like back in the day.
yeah?
I didn't realize this. The Jetsons actually came out in 1962.
Wow.
That's
That
how
is-
old that cartoon is.
That is quite a long time.
It's been around for a really long time. I haven't seen an episode in 20 years, but they figure they can sell something. Yeah, the director is Conrad Vernon. That's the Sausage Party guy. He's done a lot of animated stuff, so we're pretty sure it's an animated film. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would
that's
imagine
about all
so.
we know so
All right.
far.
Ed is saying I would love a live action Jetsons.
I think that would be better and make it a
Yeah.
comedy and make
Yeah.
fun of it.
Yeah, that would be kind of good. But again, then we just see what happened with Baywatch. So I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't know. Baywatch is just,
It's a little
people
bit
on the
different.
beach with their shirts off. I think the Jetsons has something going.
Maybe
for
there's
it.
some more. Yeah, there's some more depth there.
They got flying
With
cars.
I mean, you got Astro.
You got
yeah.
flying cars. You got robots.
That's true.
You got a lot of cool
You
stuff.
could make a
going
pretty
on.
good one out of that.
Yeah.
All right. So the Jetsons getting a movie. Also, a reboot of a reboot.
Of a reboot?
Possibly a reboot.
Okay.
Another movie getting a reboot is Charlie's Angels. Yes, Charlie's Angels, like the last one that just came out, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. 2000, I guess. 2003.
Yeah,
were
because
these
they made
last two
two of
ones.
those, right? With Lucy Liu and
Lucy Liu, Cameron Diaz, and Drew
Right.
Barrymore.
Right.
Now there is another version that's going to be coming out. It's going to be directed by Elizabeth Banks, who also directed Pitch Perfect 2. Maybe
She's a
the
mover and a
first one.
shaker.
She is, and I do like Elizabeth Banks, so I'm on board with her. But I'm just not that into Charlie's Angels to where it's necessary for me.
Yeah,
But
and
maybe
the
it is.
movies that they remade were pretty bad,
Yeah.
especially the second one. There was like a video that tie in with like a Pink song, and it was pretty.
Yeah.
It was not great.
It was not great. It was not great. Well, the new one, they're talking about it may end up being a possibly a African American led cast with Janelle Monáe as the star. So
and they
that
added
is
Demi Moore.
Demi Moore was from the second one.
Oh, okay.
From the full throttle.
Oh, okay. I got you. Missed
So-
the notes there. Okay. Well, I am not excited about that whatsoever.
Yeah, me neither. So Charlie's Angels. So there we go. All right, let's get back to the Star Wars.
Oh, shall
part of
we?
it. Yes.
Okay.
Now that Star Wars, as we mentioned at the top of the show, we have some news on Star Wars and the Last Jedi coming out later on this year, and now we're getting to see some pictures from the actual set, including 2 new characters that will be part of it.
Yeah.
One of them being Benicio del Toro, and Benicio del Toro, we knew that he was going to be a part of it. He's playing reportedly a shady character of unclear allegiances who goes unnamed in the film but is called DJ by the filmmakers.
Yeah, and he's supposed to be on a casino planet, I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so possibly on a casino planet. Yeah, a real shady guy. I'm guessing this is more of kind of like a Lando kind of character, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
A little bit shady. So that's what we've got on that one. So. Again, I'll get the pictures up there for you here in just a minute. Something's
Relax.
going on with those, yeah.
And then there's also Laura Dern. And the thing about Laura Dern being in this movie, it's just like, I don't know, Benicio del Toro too, it's like, the one thing about Star Wars usually was they didn't have outside stars that came in. And they kind of stuck with that in The Force Awakens. They brought in all new characters. They, of course, had, Harrison Ford and stuff like that because they're in the originals,
Right.
But they didn't have like big stars to helm the new movies. So it's kind of weird. I don't know. Laura Dern, she hasn't been in stuff for a while. It just kind of throws me out of that whole Star Wars universe a little bit. But maybe she'll
Yeah.
be fantastic. She is a great actress.
She is.
So-
But yeah, it's Laura Dern. That does seem kind of like a weird choice. But we'll see what comes up with that. So Laura Dern and Benicio del Toro both going to be in the new movie. And we'll see if we can circle back and show those pictures. Or you can find it at digitaltrends.com. Apologies for that.
That's true.
Okay, moving on. Let's talk about Universal's Dark Universe.
Okay.
So we know that Universal is remaking a lot of monster movies. We've talked about this. The Mummy is going to be coming out pretty soon. In The Mummy, we get introduced to Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yes.
who's-
We don't know if we get Mr. Hyde, but we definitely
Well,
get
we don't
Dr. Jekyll.
You're right. That's correct. We get Dr. Jekyll.
Yeah.
That is true.
Russell Crowe is Dr. Jekyll, and he seems to be sort of the orchestrator of the whole situation, or at least the guy with the knowledge. He's the one telling Tom Cruise how bad he screwed up with the Mummy. I like these old movies you're showing, though, like the original monster movies, for those who are watching the video podcast.
Yeah, so if you're watching, so that's something actually Universal just put out.
Yeah.
Kind of teasing those old things. It's a newer song. I think Danny Elfman actually recorded the music for this.
It's really cool, and it reminds you that they do have like a cool little system there. Everybody kind of made fun of them for trying to do the Marvel thing because everybody needs a cinematic universe, and I totally understand that, and it is a money grab. But also, they do have some really cool properties, and so it could be fun to watch these like weird horror properties come together in a full universe. Like we said, Tom Cruise is going to be the protagonist for The Mummy. Sophia Boutella is playing the horribly apocalyptic mummy that he releases by accident.
Right.
And then, of course, Russell Crowe as Dr. Jekyll, who is going to sort of kick things off and
tie some of the movies together.
Yeah, I'd expect he's going to open the universe. Now, we know that Johnny Depp has been tapped to play the Invisible Man.
Yep.
So that's kind of an interesting thing if you're still a fan of Johnny Depp after all those Pirates movies.
Right, yeah. You'll be the Invisible Man. Javier Bardem is going to be Frankenstein. Also.
That I did not know.
Yeah,
Okay, that's newer. Okay,
There's a picture that just came out too that Universal released, teasing this dark universe of these 5 main actors: the one who's playing the Mummy, and then Invisible Man. Dr.
all of them
Jekyll,
wearing
Tom Cruise,
designer suits.
and Frankenstein, all wearing designer suits.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
And they
Except
also
Cruise.
teased something else in that trailer that they released. It looks like they might also be doing the Wolfman.
Yes.
Possibly, thing from the creature from the
Black Lagoon, yeah.
Yeah. So
which is like more popular now as a meme than it ever was as a movie, I feel
Right,
like.
yeah.
It's this scene where he just like throws everything off of a ship. It's like the perfect meme for when you're really frustrated. But yeah, I don't know. I think I was a little dubious about this, especially since they tried to kick this off a few years back with this
Right.
Dracula Returns or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And that was a total failure. So they're like,
Absolutely.
whoopsie, we need a big star. And then
Yeah.
they grab Tom Cruise and it's like, I don't know. It's fairly transparent what they're trying to do here. No pun intended with the Invisible Man there, but I don't know. I think it could be cool.
Yeah. Well,
It's hard to say.
We shall see. I mean,
I'm
the first-
actually looking forward to this Mummy movie, even if it's just eye candy, just because there's a lot of stuff going on.
There's a lot
It
of
could be
stuff going
interesting.
on.
I know you're kind of dubious about it.
Just because of the first one, the one with Brendan Fraser. I mean, I fell asleep in The Mummy and I walked out on it. It was so bad.
Yeah.
Like, I just couldn't stand it. So I'm going to need a little bit more.
I'm not a huge fan of the original either, but this
Yeah.
one has a lot better
This does
effects.
look better. That is true. Definitely better effects.
Yeah.
So we'll see. So that's just kind of teasing the future of Universal's dark universe, as they're
Dark
calling it.
universe.
Let's get to some a movie coming out today. That's going to be on Netflix. We talked about it a while ago.
Yeah.
It's called War Machine, and War Machine, starring Brad Pitt. You've probably, if you're on their Netflix account, I'm sure you've seen the trailers for this.
Yeah, it's
or it
probably the
pops
first
up.
thing that popped up.
Exactly. And it's based on a nonfiction book by Michael Hastings called The Operators. And this movie is kind of loosely based on it, but it fictionalizes some real life events that happened.
And it's a war farce, too,
Yeah.
we should say. So it's it's basically like a dark comedy of sorts, I think.
Kind of.
Or
yeah.
maybe drama, but farcical
still,
in nature. Yeah.
Yeah, if you see Brad Pitt's performance, it's very...
He is very animated in his
Yeah.
role. Yeah, he's really going for it as he did in Inglourious Bastards. People
Exactly.
will remember. It's kind of a similar. He's kind of pulling from that. It looks like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I believe Brad Pitt produced under his production company. What is it called? Like Z something or no?
I'm trying to remember Brad
Yeah,
Pitt's
anyway.
production company. Yeah.
He produced it. It should be a pretty interesting movie. It's something to watch. It's right there for you on Netflix, so you might as well check it out if you're bored.
I'll definitely watch it. I'll
Yeah.
end up watching it this weekend. It seems like something right up my alley. So yeah, that's War Machine that is out this weekend. You can
Plan
watch on
B. It's Plan
Netflix.
B.
Plan B
That
Productions.
is his production
All right,
company.
of course it is. So we'll talk more about Netflix here coming up in a minute because I'm going to be giving a review of Bloodline season 3. No spoilers, but we will talk about Bloodline. Let's get into another trailer that came out this week.
Yeah.
For something that
The
seems
best
like it's
trailer that came out this week.
probably the best trailer. It's something that feels like it's been a long time since we've gotten to see any of this, any new.
Well, normally
episodes.
we'd be neck deep in the 7th season by now.
Yeah.
If it had come around at the usual time in April.
And talking about Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones, we finally get another look. And we know that this season, it's going to be split up into 2 kind of releases.
Right.
And they're going to have to really speed things up as far as what's happening in this world. I expect a lot of deaths real quick that they're just going to start knocking people out. And
I think, what is there, 8 episodes? And we've been told there's going to be just a ton of action.
Yeah. I mean,
they've set all the pieces that there's no more setup. And, you know, they also took out a lot of characters. So remember how 5 got really sprawling and it was like, how many threads can I follow? Like, my brain hurts.
Yeah.
And then they were like, you know what we could do?
Let's
just blow up everybody.
Kill them.
So that happened. But yeah, I'm excited about this. I think we all are. You know, there's been plenty of hype, but I mean, we want to see what's going to happen here, and see if they can do what has been the impossible for a lot of super hype series, which is end this with a gorgeous bow so everybody is satisfied and happy.
I'm going to guess not everybody's going to be satisfied just because
you can't please everybody.
I mean, I'm making my prediction right now. I think Cersei wins. I think she wins.
That's an interesting one.
I think she...
And then there's the whole, like, you know, if Daenerys and Jon Snow get together, but are they related?
Well, I think they're related.
But they still might get together.
Well, it is Game of Thrones.
Song of Ice and Fire.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
And he's ice and she's fire and all that. So there's a lot going on in this trailer. We see... you know, wildlings running around on horses. We see, we get to see the dragon at the end. We see Jon Snow, putting his forces together with Sansa sort of at the side, being, having her ear whispered by Littlefinger. I mean,
Littlefinger.
And there's just a lot going on, and I couldn't be more excited for this series to actually happen.
And it's July 16th is when that's going to premiere on HBO.
We also got some new shots of the cast that you can check out on Digital Trends. That I think they did a Entertainment Weekly
photo shoot
where they all got together. So
check that out.
If you can't get enough, we've got our whole roundup of everything that we know about Game of Thrones, so you can get prepped.
All there at digitaltrends.com. A couple other series from HBO that did get renewed. Veep is now going to get a season 7, which Veep is fantastic. If you have not,
I haven't seen any of the new episodes.
It's still
which
great.
I'm sort of interested because I know that I don't want to give any spoilers here, but I know that things have altered. So I was kind of surprised to hear there's going to be another season. Like, how are they going to keep this going?
They actually did a pretty good job of it for this new season. Yeah. It makes sense. I mean, since it's such a lighthearted show anyway.
Yeah,
they kind of transitioned really easily.
It's just the dialogue. That's all that
it's
matters.
Just her being a terrible person,
and some of the
everybody's awful.
Best sarcastic, vulgar dialogue that you'll ever hear. It's like
super quick wit.
West Wing mixed with Deadwood,
mixed with Arrested Development.
That's. I think we nailed it.
In there.
That's what it is. But then also we heard about Silicon Valley getting another season, which I was kind of. I don't know if I was surprised because I actually think season 4 kind of brought it back. I didn't enjoy season 3 as much, but I feel like season 4 brought it back a little bit as far as just the funny arcs, and there's some interesting things going on. But what we learned today is that T.J. Miller, he's gone.
Yeah, he's going to be leaving the show. They didn't give it any exact reason, I don't believe. It's just it seems like it's very final. He is out.
I think he's just a busy guy. He does a lot of voice actor work. He's in new movies. He's in Deadpool. He's going to be in Train Your Dragon 3, which of course he's just a voice, so it's not going to take all his time. But he probably just maybe feels like he wants to focus on movies. He's got a standout special coming on HBO, so maybe he's just doing stand up now.
Yeah,
maybe he's actually touring. I don't even know, but sounds like they are definitively parting ways. There's no other way to say it.
No more T.J. Miller in there, but Silicon Valley will be back for season 5.
That's correct.
All right, let's talk about some X-Men spin-offs here. We've got the New Mutants. So the New Mutants, we've talked about this before, that the New Mutants are part of this world of the X-Men that are going to be getting their own movies. And the New Mutants has a movie coming out. It's April 13th, 2018.
Yeah.
And it's based on a younger group of mutants who kind of go through their own trials and tribulations, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing as always, but this one, there's no costumes. And the crazy thing that we found out is that this is going to be, we're assuming a rated R, although I don't know if we have that confirmed, but definitely it's going to be a horror movie.
Yeah, which is interesting because also, I mean, this is a little bit different, but the Venom movie is also going to be a horror movie.
Yeah, that's like the hip new thing to do with comic books, I guess. But for one thing, we know that, so the director, one thing we know is the witch actress and the split actress, Anna Anya Taylor-Joy, will be playing Magic, and of course Game of Thrones actress Maisie Williams will be playing Wolfsbane.
Yeah.
The werewolf, she can
Wolfsbane's
turn into
cool.
wolves and all kinds of cool stuff. But the director today came out and said, or I think it was this week, we are making a full-fledged horror movie set within the X-Men universe. There are no costumes, there are no supervillains. We're trying to do something very, very different.
Interesting.
Yeah. So my assumption is they're going to get trapped, or there's going to be some sort of, classic horror vehicle, or device or whatever that puts these mutants into a box that they have to get out of. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's horror, so there's going to be something crazy going on.
I mean, that's interesting if they can pull it off. I'm starting to worry we maybe have reached the saturation point on comic book movies.
No,
and I like comic book
that's
movies.
Impossible.
I
They're
like
just
comic book
going to
movies,
keep coming.
but
Wow, so today you're calling it. After
Today-
all these years, after all this time.
I think it's just the newer ones that are coming out.
You
I'm like,
feel we've reached the saturation
okay.
point. I'm actually sort of stoked on Venom.
It is
Tom Hardy
That's
and
true. I
horror.
do like Venom.
And so this could be cool too.
All right.
And actually there is a report that is completely unsubstantiated that held it in a secret facility against their will. 5 new mutants have to battle the dangers of their powers as well as the sins of their past. That was in a report.
Christian on Facebook just said, saturation point, you're crazy. So, my bad. I apologize. More comic book movies.
It's never
gonna end.
gonna die, because as soon as we feel like it's over, they're gonna reboot every single thing
You're
that
right.
we've seen
You're right.
from the very start on.
And
With
here's the
new
new Iron
actors,
Man.
here's
Yeah.
the new Captain America.
Yeah.
It's all gonna happen forever and ever and ever.
You are correct. Okay, so I should just get used to that.
Yep, get used to it.
Our comic book overlords. All
That's
right.
correct.
Let's go on to some more Netflix things. Netflix always coming out with new series and shows and specials, and especially in the comedy area, they've really locked down some major stars in comedy.
Yeah, can we talk about the Ellen thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's getting what's believed to be $40 million
Oh my god!
for one special.
That's got to break the record.
The
doesn't
first special that she's done in 15 years.
$40 million for one stand-up special.
And for those who haven't been keeping count, we know that Chris Rock, we think, got about 50 to 60 million for his special. Or did he do a couple? Maybe he's doing a couple.
Chris Rock, he's doing 2, I think.
Yeah. Dave
Dave Chappelle's
Chappelle,
2.
he's done 2, I think 3 total, like 1 2-parter and then another one is coming out. He
Louis
got
CK.
50 to 60 million as well. So Netflix is just tossing tens of millions of dollars at these big name comedians.
$40 million for one stand-up special, and I'm
Well, it
just
makes you
curious how many
wonder.
people watch a stand-up special more than once.
Well, it also makes you wonder, what is HBO paying for these things? TJ Miller's got an HBO comedy special coming out.
Yeah,
Ellen
he's
DeGeneres'
not to
last.
that
No,
level,
he's
though.
not. But Ellen DeGeneres' last one was on HBO. HBO used to be the place for comedy, for big comedy specials.
Showtime also is going
Yeah,
after it
they've
now
done
too,
that.
because Kamau Bell has a special on there, a couple other people.
But yeah, that's just a lot of money. It is a lot of cash.
40 million, man.
Yeah.
For one night. I mean, I know it's, months and months of preparation to whittle down that material, but still.
Yeah, exactly. They're touring. They're figuring out what works, what doesn't work. Yeah.
But still, just to feel that feeling, like to go out. So, say she does the show twice, so they can cut it together and make it a special. Twice, you walk out of there, it's like, okay, I'll take my $40 million check right now for my evening of work.
Well, she's pretty hard up. She has 20 People's Choice Awards and the most popular daytime TV show.
I mean, she's pretty.
She has no money.
She seems like a real great person, to be honest. I mean, I don't see how you can dislike Ellen.
No, and she's naturally funny. I'm
She
sure
is.
it'll be
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, probably.
Yep.
All right, moving on to a couple other things on Netflix here.
Yeah.
And we will revisit the Top Gun 2 issue to see if kind of get a confirmation on what the overall feeling is of whether or not it's a good or bad idea. But for Netflix, we have another new series that's going to be coming out called based on Castlevania. Castlevania,
That's true.
The classic video game, the original Nintendo game. I played it.
And what do you know? They really worked on the nostalgia for this trailer.
They did. The trailer
They're
shows
showing
somebody.
an 80s Nintendo cartridge with SD resolution. He sticks in the cartridge. He doesn't blow it off. I thought he was going to blow it off, but he didn't blow it off.
You're supposed to blow it off, and then you got to tap on the
You
top
got to tap
of the...
it. He did tap it.
Okay, that's true. So-
And then we get to see a little bit of footage from this new show, and I never actually watched Castlevania.
or played it.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I
played
never
it.
actually played it. Sorry, but I
played
will watch it. I think because it looks really interesting.
Yeah.
and it looks like the animation is going to be pretty fun.
I mean, the game was fun.
Yeah.
I definitely remember playing it.
I mean, I knew about it. I knew it
Wasn't
was
my
really
favorite
hard. I
Nintendo.
think we've talked about this before, but that old Nintendo Power TV show, or whatever it was called, the
Yeah.
kid in it was supposed to be the Nintendo master, but like the only game he couldn't beat is Castlevania. I think I remember.
That probably sounds about right. I
So
don't think I
there's
ever
that.
beat it. Yeah.
But this animation just looks really cool.
It does.
It's
It
like
does.
sort of the old school Japanimation stuff. So it's I don't know.
And again, Castlevania is kind of based on this character Simon Belmont, whose goal in life is to kill Dracula.
Yes.
You know, the warring families and all that.
And
stuff.
apparently in every game he does kill Dracula, but then somehow
but then he's
Dracula
Dracula.
comes
He
back.
come back.
I
Yeah.
was talking to our gaming guys, and they were like, "Yeah, they've made 15 of these games or something." So there's an audience for it.
So there we go. So you can kill him each season and come right back.
That's true.
But Castlevania, so that's going to be interesting to see that. So all animated, that's going to be happening on Netflix. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about Bloodline
All right.
for a minute. So
Bloodline chat.
yes, Bloodline chat, and I want to get in this and give a little bit of a preface. And I'll say this: I got to see some of season 3 before it came out. Season 3 is just out today. I've been able to watch a few episodes of it, and I'm not going to give any spoilers, but I am going to kind of give just kind of a general idea of what to expect. So if you haven't seen Bloodline, it's on Netflix. This is the 3rd and final season that is just coming out. It's based on the show is a real drama based on this family in that lives in the Keys. So it's the family called the Rayburns. And they're all tight-knit. They're all doing very well for themselves, except for one older brother who's kind of the black sheep of the family,
Right.
who is Danny, played by Ben Mendelsohn. Ben Mendelsohn, if you don't know who he is, he was also the admiral in the latest... or
The
not
bad guy
admiral,
from Rogue One.
Bad guy from Rogue One.
Yeah.
Yes, there we go. Whatever his title was in that. It's a really great cast for this thing. So the family essentially owns this kind of a plantation-style resort that people go to. Sissy Spacek is the mother figure. The father figure, I can't remember his name, and I didn't write it down, but he's
Bo Bridges?
not Bo
Oh,
Bridges.
he's
Bo
not the
Bridges
father
does
figure.
come into it later on.
Okay, gotcha.
Bo Bridges is in season 3, but Kyle Chandler is kind of the main focal point of the sons. He's a detective. Linda Cardellini's an attorney, and so they're all very successful. So, there's one other brother in there too, and his name is Kevin on the show, but the actor's name is Norbert Leo Butz. That's his last name. His last name Butz. That guy
Nice.
is a phenomenal actor.
All right.
There's really solid acting all around. So anyway, it revolves around this family. Bloodline, of course, everybody by appearances, everything's nice and on the ups. Of course, it's not, behind the scenes. They're all actually secretly terrible people.
Yeah.
Who think that they're good. They think they're doing the right thing. They think
That's
they're
the
walking-
dangerous part, right?
Yeah. So they believe they're good, except for Danny. They hate Danny. So season 1 and season 2, I highly recommend watching this show. It's great. I find it very entertaining. The acting is phenomenal throughout the entire series. I mean, it's really, really top-notch acting. Season 3, and again, this isn't going to give any spoilers, but if you have seen it, it's very, very dark. I mean, at this point, when season 3 comes around, the facade that the family has, and even convincing themselves that they're secretly good, that they're good people, they're just forced into a bad situation.
Right.
I think they're all realizing that, oh no, we're terrible people.
Maybe not.
Like, oh crap, and it's not that they're embracing that. It's like they're realizing that they are really bad.
Yeah.
And they've done bad things, and instead of kind of trying to get out of it, like they don't see a way out.
That's interesting because I remember the line when this first came out was, "We're not bad people, but we did a bad thing."
Exactly. You're
Now they're
absolutely
like,
right, yeah.
"We are bad people."
It's like, oh no, yeah, we're bad people. Yeah, we're bad. I mean, and they
there you go.
realize at this point, it's the season 3. It's very chaotic. It takes, I would say, a couple of episodes to really kind of get into it because they just jump into some hardcore stuff, and once that happens, you start to see kind of where they're going with this. It's a great season. If you're a fan of Bloodline, you finally get to see where all these things they've been doing, where it's all going to head for them, and what's going to happen to them because of what they've done. Can they find their way out of it, or is it just going to be worse and worse? The family's completely unraveling, and it's a really fun thing to see just because you follow these characters, and even though you kind of root for them, you know that they're bad people.
Yeah, there you
So
go.
it's kind of nice to see them all fall apart. But it's like I said, very dark.
That reminds me of
Very dark.
a broader
Yes.
thing happening.
Let's go to that. So Bloodline, season 3, out today. I suggest watching Bloodline no matter where you're at in the series.
Well, and then I just wanted to quickly say that the movies this week are going to suck, it seems. So I kind of recommend people who are into the Alien franchise to go ahead and go see Alien Covenant.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. We have described it, and I think I've heard other people say something similar. It's kind of like a Star Trek, a single Star Trek episode. It's like an offshoot adventure that happens, but there's broader themes at play.
I like that.
But there's a lot of violence. It's very interesting. The acting's good. There are still some sketchy plot holes here and there, and the script gets a little like full of itself and a little slow at times.
Okay.
But it's Michael Fassbender just having a blast in his roles, his dual roles as androids.
Yeah.
And it's just a lot of like gritty, dark violence. It's a fun Alien movie. If you like Alien, go see this one.
Sold.
Yeah.
All right.
You'll enjoy it.
So go see Alien. That is what we've got. So again, thank you everybody for tuning in to Between the Streams, kind of wrapping up what we talked about. Top Gun 2. Is it a good or a bad idea? I'd say overwhelmingly I'm seeing bad idea.
Well, we'll just have to see about that.
We'll have to see. So Top Gun 2, Getting Confirmed. You can read all about it at digitaltrends.com, just like everything else that we've talked about on the show. And you can subscribe to the audio version of this podcast. Please do. You can go to iTunes or Stitcher, wherever you get them, digitaltrends.com/podcasts. You can link to all of our podcasts that we have and follow up on those. And it is Memorial Day weekend, so have a great weekend. Go see some movies, some television shows. Send us an email, podcast@digitaltrends.com, if you think there's a show or series that we should check out. Always love getting recommendations.
Oh, yeah. And also, we've got a post coming up on Monday for all the best epic war movies on
nice.
Digital Trends. So check that out. If you're looking for something nostalgic to watch about the Memorial Day to sort of think about the troops and everything, we've got some really cool war movies on there.
Very cool.
Check those out.
Cool. That's on Monday at digitaltrends.com. All right, thanks so much, everybody. We'll be back next week with another episode.
Stay safe.
Yes.